Yeah.
Okay, it looks like it's 7.
Do we want to wait one more minute? See if anybody latecomers come in?
Sure.
And I do have a question for Alice and Fran.
Mhm.
And that's this, if we only have 4 members, usually in a in-person meeting, individuals would sign a form giving consent to being heard by just 4 members, because you need unanimity to grant an application then.
Fran, you have an answer? You're on mute.
I'm fixing it.
No, not you, but Fran is too.
I would think because we're streaming and we're going to be recording and we're video, that if they agree, it's going to be acceptable because
Yeah,
we
we'll
don't
have a
way-
record of it.
Yeah, we have a record of it. It's video. So
Very
the
good.
applicants are acknowledging that they're accepting it.
I, as the applicant, acknowledge that you have less than the desired members attending this meeting.
Yeah, usually there are 5 voting members.
Oh, wait, here
comes
comes Neil.
Here comes Neil.
Okay,
So we should be okay.
okay, so that means we'll have 5 voting members on.
Yep.
All right, Robert, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Neil.
Okay, good.
Can't see your pretty face, but I can hear you.
All right. I don't know why you can't see me, but
Okay, cool. Okay, I think we can start the meeting now at 7:02. So let me start off by saying good evening and welcome to the May 4th, 2020 meeting of the Town of Brookfield Zoning Board of Appeals, or ZBA. First, let me introduce the members of the ZBA who are present here this evening. I'm Robert Marconi. I'm the chairman of the ZBA. Our vice chair, Neil Capola, is here via telephone. Our secretary, Juliana Zach, is available here. Let's see, Louise Trojanowski Marconi is present. And Lisa Temple is present. Also, Fran Lally, our zoning enforcement officer, is present. Alice Dew is also present, and Allison Kennedy, our recording secretary, is present, as well as some of the applicants here.
Joe
Joe
Fusillo
Fuccello's
also
here.
joined.
Excuse me?
Joe's also joined.
Oh, Joe has, okay, so one of our alternates, Joseph Fusillo, has joined. The current agenda can be found under board meetings on the town website, Town of Brookfield website. I will call each applicant one at a time. When I call the property address, please come forward and tell us about your appeal. After we've gone through all the cases on the agenda tonight, we will close the public evidentiary portion of this meeting, and then we will deliberate in open executive session. You must have at least 4 affirmative votes to have your appeal granted, and in fact, we do have 5 full voting members here tonight. You are welcome to stay to the end of the meeting or contact the land use office in the morning. But usually we will decide the case fairly rapidly, so we urge you to stay till the end of the meeting. Note that in regards to any appeal that is granted, it is constrained to the plan submitted and to any purposes stated in the application, unless the board specifically notes otherwise. The public hearing, the public evidentiary hearing, is only one aspect of the approval process and is for the purposes of accepting factual information and data bearing on this application, and allows expression of opinion by interested parties. The final decision that this board renders may be in the form of approved as submitted, approved with stipulations, that is a conditional approval, or disapproved. After reading into the record the correspondence received by the board relative to this application, we will ask the applicant to present the application in detail. The chair, myself, will then entertain questions of clarification from board members concerning the applicant's presentation. We will then hear from those who wish to speak in favor of the application, followed by those who are opposed. Following each side of the question, the applicant will be allowed to make concluding remarks. All questions and comments must be directed through the chair. As you are recognized, please state your name and address each time before you speak so that your comments may be legally recorded. Please be assured that everyone will be given the opportunity to speak. However, the board is most interested in hearing factual information relative to the application, and in view of the time constraints placed upon us, we ask your indulgence in not reiterating comments previously presented. Now, the first item of business on tonight's agenda is reviewing the minutes of April 6th, 2020. I'll take a motion to approve those minutes. Okay, Louise moved in favor. I'll take a second.
I'll second that. It's Neil.
Okay, good, Neil. Okay, has everybody had the chance to review the minutes?
Yes.
Okay, for approval, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
I wasn't present, so I would not vote.
Okay, so Joe, you were present, were you not? Or-
I was, yes,
Okay,
was.
so Joe can vote when you are not voting, Juliana. Okay,
yes, I'm in favor.
so, okay, the minutes are approved. We have number 3 on the agenda would be review of correspondence, and I just wanted to mention is that we've been provided with the, for our own benefit, the minutes of other boards and commissions, zoning commission, inland wetlands commission, planning commission. And then we have also been given an information report from the Water Pollution Control Authority. After reviewing that, I believe there is no action that we need to take on any of those items. So we can move to the public hearings first. And the first public hearing is on 731 Federal Road, which is application number Z-20-28. And is someone here on that application?
Yes, I am Dinas Verbicus,
Okay,
professional
And Dan-
engineer
And
with
Tony,
Artel Engineering Group.
very good.
Oh,
and
sorry,
Tony Lucera, the applicant.
Okay. So why don't you just tell us, I know we have the application right in front of us, but if you can just give us the good summary of the application and for important points that you want us to be aware of.
Sure. So the application is for ultimately the development of the property. It's known as 731 Federal Road. The property is about 7.3 acres in size and is located just to the north of the where Super 7 ends before Four Corners. The property is on the east side of the road, and it's a long, narrow parcel, roughly 1,300 feet in length, running north to south and varying from about 400 feet wide front to back or east to west at the south end, and narrowing down to about 200 feet east to west at the north end. So kind of long and narrow, or even triangular shaped. The property is bounded on the west side by Federal Road. Private properties on both the north and south side, and on the east side is the Still River. Topography on the property is relatively steep along the eastern edge, or excuse me, along the western edge. And as you get down to the river, things seem to flatten out. Property is got quite a substantial amount of wetlands associated with it, floodplain associated with it, and limited access to the state road. In fact, the property owners needed to negotiate with the state and actually had to purchase access to the road as it is going to tee up with Laurel Hill Road. Prior to purchase of that access agreement, or prior to the access agreement with the state, the property did not have any access at this southerly point of the property. So in a nutshell, we're looking to develop the property with 2 buildings. A larger building would be located to the north side of the property. And that building itself is about 22,000 square feet in size and is located per zoning regulations at a distance between 6 to 25 feet to the front property line. As a secondary portion of the development, there is a small, what we would call a pad site located to the south of where the main entrance is proposed. And for that pad site, we think that it would be a great spot for a drive-through facility, ideally a coffee shop, something that is added or utilized by both pedestrians as well as vehicles. A nice place to stop and an accompaniment to the larger building that's proposed. Our challenge, because of the topography and because of the drive-through element, is setting the building up close to Federal Road itself. In order to maintain grades and to provide stacking for vehicles and the like, the building is, as it's shown on the map, and we can get to the maps a little bit later after my overview. The building, the front face of it is about 69, 70 feet away from the front property line. So it's a bit in excess of the 25-foot rearmost position or furthest most position that it can be placed. So we're seeking a variance to allow us to place a building kind of remotely from the road as it's depicted on the map. So again, the regulations require us to be no further back than 25 feet, and yet we're about 69 to 70 feet away. So we'd be seeking a variance of about 44 to 45 feet distance-wise away from the road. If you wish, I can put some maps on the screen, or maybe you want to ask some questions first, and we can go to the maps, however you like.
What I think I'd like to do is read into the record that we did get a letter of support from Greg Dombrowski, the project manager of the town of Brookfield. And if I may read it with everybody's permission. It is an email letter entitled or dated Monday, May 4th, 2020 at 10:32 a.m. It was sent from Greg Dombrowski. And it was sent to myself and other members of the ZBA. Neil, I believe, was copied on it. And then, and it says, to the ZBA, this message is to voice my support as streetscape project manager for the town for the development at 731 Federal Road being presented at your meeting this evening. My office has been working with the developer over the last several months to coordinate their project with the design of Streetscape Phase 5, which I am coincidentally presenting to the Board of Selectmen for approval at the same time as your meeting. Otherwise, I would make my request to you in person. Attached is the Phase 5 Streetscape project conceptual design. Note the crosswalk we are adding to provide access to the east side of Federal Road. And of course, attached to that was a schematic chart, and signed by Greg Dombrowski, project manager, town of Brookfield. So with that in mind, then feel free to put up, if you wish, any documentation on the screen that might make it easier for both members
Sure.
and any members of the public viewing it.
Sure. What I think I will try and put up on the screen now would be the actual zoning location survey map that's prepared
Okay.
by the project land surveyors, and that'll show the point or the area that we're seeking our variance from, as well as the site as a whole. Please bear with me as I try to share the screen. And
Dinus, if you have any trouble, I can share mine. I have your schematic as
Okay.
well.
I see it on my screen. Do you have it on yours?
No. You have to hit start share somewhere there.
Okay. And now I'm lost. You can probably see me still though, right? These,
We can still see.
I was about to start it. Looks like Fran is already doing it.
Okay, good, good. Okay, there we have it.
okay. I can't see anything now.
Ironically, I can see the chart. Do you have a hard copy with you that you can refer to?
Dennis, do you want me to take over describing the plan?
Yeah, I seem to have, I can hear you all. I just can't see anything. I don't know
Well,
what happened.
We can see you, so don't do anything wrong.
Well,
I'm
Tony,
in
if
this,
you wish to, feel free to do it if,
Absolutely. So to the south portion, and I don't think my cursor is, no, Dinus is pointing to it or Fran is rather. That is the building that we're asking for the variance. What it
Right.
does is it allows, as Dinus said earlier, for a stacking for the drive-through for that particular store. To the north of that, or to the left on the plan that you're looking at, is the primary building. Approximately half of that first floor, 10,000 feet, will be a grocery store, and the balance of the first floor will be smaller mom and pop shops, as we like to call them. And then above those first floor shops and store, there will be 2 floors of apartments. Going further to the north, you'll see 36 parking spaces. Those are earmarked for people using the walking path. We worked with the first selectman and with Greg Dombrowski in developing that parking for use by people that want to use the walking trail, and that will be open to the public to use it at any given time that the walking trail is open. As Dinah said earlier, we bought from the state the access directly across from Laurel Hill Road to make some continuity in both people flow and traffic flow. Fran, do you happen to have Greg's plan that you can put up also?
I do not have that, Tony. I apologize.
Okay. Well,
actually, I've got it on my screen, but I can't get it to anyone.
Okay. Well, the proposed plan is for the sidewalk, which is they've currently done in many phases on Federal Road. It's actually going to come off Federal Road and down Old Federal Road, which is to the bottom left. Fran, can you point to that? Thank you.
Yep.
And it's going to come down that street and then hit Laurel Hill Road and go to the north side of Laurel Hill Road, where it will have a crosswalk directly for people who are walking from the Brookfield Village Apartments or from Laurel Hill Apartments. They'll be able to physically walk and go across Federal Road to the grocery store, to the mom and pop shops, and to the other freestanding store that we are requesting the variance this evening. And I think that's a pretty basic overview of the project.
all right.
Are there any questions concerning the site plan from any of the members?
Are there any plans for a light at the Laurel Hill intersection?
Greg and I are working on that. We don't know if we have enough warrants, what are called warrants, for the DOT to give us a light, but we're hoping because of the foot traffic, that the state will be agreeable to that. We would love to have a light at that location.
Okay, great. I'd like to see
That'll
that.
be absolutely only determined by the Office of State Traffic Authority, known as
Right.
OSTA.
So does this require State Traffic Commission approval?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Anything on federal road or any state road requires after town approval. We then start the process with the state.
Because sometimes the State Traffic Commission, sometimes they'll require additional safety measures, lights sometimes they require turn lanes in certain kinds of developments.
We already have turn lanes planned. Our traffic engineer, as Mike Galanti from Frederick Clark, has completed his traffic report. And we have in that traffic report, there are plans for a right turn lane coming north and left-hand turning into the project with a bypass lane going south.
Okay, excellent. Okay, I would ask, are there any other comments or questions from members of the board?
No,
No,
Okay, then the next thing I will ask is, are there any members of the public who wish to speak in favor of this application? Hearing none. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak in opposition to this application? Okay, hearing none at this time. I'll take a motion to close the evidentiary portion of this application, unless the applicants want to add anything more.
Well,
Dennis, do you have anything else, Dennis? I don't think.
I can try and share the screen again. I've got Greg's map.
Try it
If that would
again.
be of any help, and basically what it shows is a sidewalk as it enters into the, or goes across Federal Road.
Dennis, down at the bottom of this Zoom screen, if you move your mouse, you'll see a
Yep.
green button that says share
Yep.
screen.
Yeah, yes, I got that, clicked it. And I'm not sure which I know, I see what I'm sharing already.
Is this what you're looking at?
Yes,
Okay.
that's exactly what I'm looking at. And I'm trying
I
to
did get a copy.
share. Here we go. Can you see that?
I can
It's
see.
coming up. There it is.
I can see it now.
Ta-da.
Dennis, scroll the drawing up a little bit. Thank you.
So where the mouse is currently located is the proposed access drive into the site, teed up directly across Laurel Hill Road. And as you can see, the streetscape plan shows sidewalk coming down the north side of Laurel Hill Road, rounding the bend to a crosswalk that's proposed across Federal Road and to the existing walking path that runs north-south along Federal Road and to the town park. So again, our driveway is proposed here. The larger building is proposed in this area, and our drive-through facility in this area.
Okay, that does help make it even clearer.
Yep.
Well, thank you for
I don't
getting.
know how to escape this screen, but we're here. Oh, stop share, right?
Yeah.
There you go.
Is everyone satisfied with that?
Yes,
Terrific.
okay.
Click out of
Good
that.
job, Dennis.
Hooray, thank you.
Okay, so I'll take
Thank you, Alice.
I'll take a motion to close the evidentiary portion of this proceeding.
so
moved.
moved.
Okay, in a second.
Second.
Okay. So we will then, we're going to be deliberating on this once we hear the other, I believe we have two other cases. So let me move on then to the next case, which is a continued public hearing for 18 Junction Road, which is Z-20-19. Do we have the proponent for 18 Junction Road?
Yes, this is Rocco Sala.
Okay. Excellent. Why don't you just then give us a presentation for your application.
So the application for the variance is for a shed to go 10 feet away from the side property line instead of the required 30 feet.
Yes.
The topography of the property is making it difficult for that shed to work anywhere else with the typical spacing off the property line. And the shed is also movable. So if for whatever reason needed to get relocated at a later date, it can be done. The shed is 10 by 14, and it's just a simple tool storage shed. Unfortunately, I had already built it without the permission to locate it. Again, it's still movable, but I'm filing for the variance to put it at the end of the driveway and make it the most usable that it can be.
All right. Let's start off with any members have any questions for the applicant?
Did we receive any letters opposing or in agreement with it? I don't see anything on the file.
Well, I filed everything as required. I mailed the letters out to all the neighbors. And I left everything at the land use department.
There's been no correspondence with regards to the application.
Thank you, Fran.
You're welcome.
Okay.
I see there's an existing shed to be removed.
That was here when I bought the building, when I bought the house.
Mhm.
I don't know who said that it needed to be removed. It wasn't anything, it was there when I bought it. Nobody said anything about having to remove it. If you guys sold it, why wouldn't you have removed it before you sold it?
It just says it on the.
Yeah, it was on the original site map that I had. But I don't know if that was before they swapped parcels. I don't know what that note was for, but if you look at the map that I used was one that swapped where the neighbor swapped parcels with my property. It was an old document that I had to best describe what I had to do.
Well, Fran or Alice, are you aware of any requirement for the removal of any structures on the property?
No, that shed was prior. The town owned this property, the Conservation Commission, and they sold the property. And that shed was there. It's been there for over, I don't know how many years, over 3 years, grandfathered. Why it was never removed, I don't know why. I can't answer that, but it's been there for a long time.
I see no reason for us to require its removal if that's the case.
No, it's grandfathered.
Okay. Any other questions from any board members on this application?
I do. Oh, Neil, go ahead.
It's a tough piece of property. We gave one of your neighbors a very similar variance a few years back because you're so steep off 133 there down into the lots. It's tough to put anything in down there. And I think it's a good spot for it in the driveway. It's out of the way, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's far enough back. I feel like it's not bothering anybody there, but go ahead and let me know.
You kind of mentioned the question that I was going to ask. I was going to ask what kind of topography problems you had or hardship, but you just mentioned. So I'm satisfied with that.
Okay, are there any other questions, comments from members of the board?
Not for me.
Nope.
I'm good.
Okay, what I'm going to ask is, is there anyone in the public who wishes to speak in favor of this application? Hearing none, I'll ask if there's any member of the public who wants to speak in opposition to this application. Then I'll ask the applicant finally, are there any concluding remarks you want to make before we close the evidentiary portion of this hearing?
No, thank you.
Okay, and I'm going to ask you to stay around. We'll deliberate once we hear the final case that we have.
I will, thank you.
So I'll take a motion to close the evidentiary portion of this hearing. And a second.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so I hear nobody in opposition. So with that in mind, let's move on to the final case that we actually have. And that's the 61 Long Meadow Hill Road, Z-20-4. And I remember this matter got continued. So the applicant is present.
Yes, Natalia Cantor, 61 Long Meadow Hill Road.
Okay, excellent. And I believe this got continued in part, was it for you to get a survey, as I understand, or?
No, I think one of the members said that they were going to do a visit because my boyfriend wasn't working. He hasn't been working for like 6 weeks or almost
yes.
7, and he was in quarantine and all that. So we couldn't afford the survey.
Okay, and I know I personally have jogged by the property. So Neil, I think that, did you have any comments that you had wanted to make on this? Because I remember you were wanting to, I think that you wanted to have the survey done.
They're required to have a survey.
Right.
You need to know where it is exactly on the property. The GIS map isn't correct enough to measure off of. And you know, we want to move it away from the neighbor's house because the neighbor had concerns with it. And now it appears they're starting to form a second driveway off of Long Meadow Hill Road. I see cars parked out there on the front lawn. So I would really like to see that shed behind the house, and then they wouldn't have to be here. They wouldn't have to, they put it behind the house. Would be on the east side of the house where they said they want to put a pool in later. You know, they can work it into the pool plans or something. They wouldn't, they get it 30 feet away from the rear lot line. They can, they don't need a variance. They will, they're still gonna have to get an as-built for it, I believe. And a permit anyway. But they really don't know where that rear lot line is, side lot line, their 2 front yards, without a survey. So they can't accurately place it. And if they place it and it's out, they're gonna be back here again for another variance, or we're gonna make them move it. They're not my rules, they're the town's rules.
Yeah, how much the surveys run for?
Well, we looked into one and it said that it was $1,400.
Neil, does that sound about right to you?
Yeah, I paid a little over 2,000 for my house, so yeah, that's probably about right.
Okay.
Can you go back to your records? Maybe when you bought the house, there's a survey somewhere in paperwork that came with the house. Maybe there's one down the town hall, filed away somewhere.
I think that when we went to ask for this information at the beginning, we talked to Frank, I think is his name, and he looked into the file and he said that it wasn't one there. I don't remember if it wasn't one or it was too old. I really don't remember.
Fran, do you have any idea whether there should be one in town hall?
I believe if we had one, Bob, I would have gave it to her, an updated one. I don't think we had anything in the file. If it was, there was an old one, probably back to 1960, I think it was.
You know, your lot's a little undersized and you have 2 front yards, but
Right.
your neighbor doesn't want to see the shed.
Yes.
From where you drew it on the GIS map, you're about a quarter inch off the line, which on this map would be 12.5 feet. If you can move it closer to the house, and I think we discussed some when you were in town hall the first time, you know, move the shed closer to the house and put some some evergreens behind it to shield the neighbor.
So we already have like trees and stuff.
Yeah, it's forsythias behind it.
Yeah,
But they go bare in the wintertime. They lose their leaves.
Yeah.
So moving away from the property line and plant some evergreens behind it, but one way or another, you're still gonna have to get a survey done because we won't give you the building department won't sign off on it without an as-built done to a survey. Am I correct, Fran?
Fran's on mute.
Yes, you're right. You're right. Sorry, I was looking for the map.
So our hands are kind of tied here.
So basically, I think what Neil is saying is, what the vice chair is saying is that even if we voted to approve this, you still need to get a survey to get the approvals of the building department. Would that be correct, Neil?
Yes.
Okay. So one way or the other, a survey has to be priced into getting the shed. And whether and I think what we're asking for is just wanting to make sure that the measurements are where the map says they are.
You can, oh yeah, the property line goes from that oak tree to that big rock in the corner. Worked 100 years ago between farmers, but it doesn't work now. And over time, that the stories always change, and we've seen it before where, I thought it was my property. We've had people build over lines and, not knowing where their property really was. I think that's why we brought in the conditions to have a survey so we could see, and so the property owners can see, and the neighbors can see exactly where it's going.
So is our land use office available to assist an applicant in locating a surveyor?
Yeah,
Yes,
Fran's in tomorrow.
yes.
Okay. Then I would ask, one of my thoughts is to give the applicant an opportunity to consult with our land use staff for possible licensed surveyors and maybe compare prices. Maybe you might be able to find somebody who might be less expensive than the
Explain the job to them. You just want to place a shed. Or
Yeah.
you need some stakes put in the ground. It's a time thing with them, and they've got overhead and stuff. I don't know what they have minimums. But we've got to do this. We've already given you a 90-day extension.
There are hardships here, but I think this is a necessary step. So, and I think we can, as I understand, I think we can give a further extension.
What's the extension now? Let me get back there.
I think last month we went to 90 days for them.
I think you went to, let me see if I can find out. Fran, do you remember?
I think there was another 90-day extension granted by the governor.
Right, but that's not what I don't think that's what you gave him last meeting. I gave
No,
them.
because they requested, I think it was a 60-day extension prior, or 90, was it 60 days or 90 days?
60. It was 60.
60.
Okay.
So you can add on to that another 90 if
90, yeah.
necessary.
Can I ask a question? This sounds maybe stupid, but did somebody mention that this is an as-built shed? Is that, and that's the reason why eventually she'd need a survey anyway? If
No,
she-
the as-built is when you get a project on, the surveyor comes back in and just checks that you put it where it was supposed to be. So the house, the shed, the garage is where it was in plan. That's the as-built. It has nothing to do with the shed. There's a pre-construction survey and then post-construction survey for the as-built.
So the other shed that we discussed earlier in this session must have
He
gone through the same
constructed it.
process?
He constructed it without a permit and then came in for the permit. But he located his on a survey, not a GIS map.
Okay. Thank you.
That's the difference then. So the big sticking point is the survey.
Yes.
Okay, so we're not, we can move forward with that. So I think that's the end of this request from our part, because we, like I said before, he's not working. He was in quarantine because he wasn't feeling well, and he hasn't been working. So I guess this is it for us.
Well, we could give the extension because at some point he may be able to get back to work, right?
Yeah, but with $1,400 and we have more things to pay that it's just not going to be able to pay $1,400 right now, or in a month or 2 months when he comes back to work.
Well, one option you have, I believe, is to withdraw the application and refile it when he's back to work and you can afford a survey.
And the other option is what was it, 90 days continuance?
Yeah, the commission they don't need your approval, but they can go ahead and add 90 days on due to executive order.
Okay.
So we can
Okay,
give you the 90 days, and I'll tell you what, if the circumstances haven't changed at that point, rather than us reject an application that ordinarily could be granted if a survey had been done, we can let you withdraw the application and then reapply when you're able financially to be able to get the survey done.
Okay.
So,
Sorry, Bob.
okay, so I can tell you what, we could put a motion on the table now to continue with this for 90 days. And if it turns out that you, say you win the lottery beforehand to get the survey done earlier, we can always ask that you can always ask to have it put on an earlier docket then.
Okay.
So I will, I'll ask for a motion to continue this for the next ZBA meeting that's within the 90 days, the last meeting. So Louise, you made that motion. So I'm going to ask Fran if you can check to see what date that would be moved to, what ZBA meeting.
Okay.
In the meantime, look around all the paperwork you have for the house. You may have a copy of a survey somewhere.
But
Okay.
I'll visit the land use office to see if they have suggestions on surveys, and maybe they can take another quick look at the land records to see if there's something there.
But I was looking at the paperwork that we had when we bought the house. It's gonna be 4 years ago, and they used to have a pool at one point.
Yeah.
So I think that they had a survey done before 1960 because that pool didn't look that old.
Why don't you bring the paperwork to work with the land use office, if that's possible, guys?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, why don't you do that? And we'll see what we can do. And if it turns out that there's something that's adequate in the records, I can ask our land use office to put it on an earlier docket than 90 days. But in the meantime, we've made the motion to continue it for up to 90 days, okay? And is there a second on that motion?
I'll second that.
Okay, so I'll take a vote on that. All in favor of continuing this for no longer than 90 days?
Aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Okay, so by all means, we want to work with everybody who comes before this board. And if a survey is required, let's see if our land use folks can see if we can help you to see, one, if there's any kind of appropriate documentation at all that you may have, or two, to see whether or not you can be hooked up with a surveyor who, maybe can work with you, maybe, and we'll see. And if it turns out the 90 days comes and your situation still hasn't changed, you may want to withdraw the application, then resubmit it when you are able to provide everything. Okay?
Okay, if I withdraw the motion, would I get refunded the money or no? I have to file again with another $250.
I do not know about that. I would be in favor of reimbursing you myself. But I think our full-time staff would be able to know the answer to that question more than me.
Okay.
I'll
Fran,
help her when she comes in with that.
Okay. Very good. Well, thank you so much for coming to tonight's virtual meeting then.
thank you.
And I'm sorry we weren't able to, move forward at this point, but, these things happen.
Thank you very much.
You're quite welcome. Okay, so that is it for the cases that we have. So I think we can now move on to deliberate on the two other cases. So I'm going to go back to 731 Federal Road Z-20-28, and I'll take a motion to approve as submitted.
So moved.
Okay, and a second?
Second,
Okay. So I think we've seen that there's a topography issue on this piece of property. Looks like an irregular shape anyway, but there's wetlands issues too, I think. So
Yeah, I like the fact that that little drive-through lane is gonna be set farther back from the greenway also.
yeah, and by the way, it seems to be with this pandemic is that drive-throughs seem to be very valuable nowadays.
Yeah,
Uh,
and we gave this, I don't know if you remember, Bob, when we gave this
Yes.
property its variance earlier, they actually had a bigger building back here where the drive-through was going.
Yeah, I know, we approved that. So I see no reason to oppose this. Does anybody else have any other comments? Okay, I think we can take a vote then. All in favor of granting the application as submitted? Signify by indicating aye.
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 I think it's unanimous. Okay, and opposed? Okay, since I believe all 5 voting members voted, so I think, Joe, since you're an alternate, I don't think you were able to vote on this, correct?
Okay.
Or unless any one of the 5 regular members did not vote. Okay, I think all 5 regular members voted and we all voted unanimously. So,
Thank you.
but thank you for being here, Joe.
Y'all can vote on the next one. I'll sit out the next one.
Okay. So, the next application is the 18 Junction Road Z-20-19. And again, this one, well, first of all, let's take a motion to approve this as submitted
so moved.
in a second.
Second.
Okay. This seems to be another issue with topography too.
Yes.
So does anyone have any objections to granting this one?
I don't.
Okay, any other comments? Okay, I guess we can take a vote on this if everyone's ready. All in favor of granting this application as submitted, signify by saying aye.
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 And opposed? Okay, so that was unanimous. So I'm trying to figure out, Joe, did you vote on this one or not? And,
If you need me to vote, I will. I voted in favor of it.
okay, Neil, were you voting?
I kept my mouth shut.
Okay, so Joe, you were recorded as having voted on this one. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, now I believe that's it as far as the cases were concerned. I believe that Nina sent me a notice of an after the fact document. Let's see. One moment, guys.
Mr. Chairman, while you're looking for that, I want to thank the commission and wish all the mothers a happy Mother's Day this Sunday.
Thank you.
You won't be going out to dinner, though.
Thank you.
No, but we will be having takeout brought here, I'm sure.
Definitely.
The other plus,
Again, thank you very much.
okay.
And have a good night.
All right, well,
Bye-bye.
Right.
night.
Good night. Bye-bye.
I know that Nina had sent a to me. I don't know if all the ZBA members got it. But this was a reopening Brookfield business by Greg Dombrowski, and it explained a general proposed plan. I don't think there was any action that we needed to take on it. And I don't know if the members got this document. It is dated April 30th, 2020. And begins by saying, as the COVID-19 crisis continues, the Economic Development Department is working to learn and educate business owners on programs available and what other towns are doing in developing plans to help them reopen. So, and again, it doesn't seem to be a particular motion that we need to undertake, but it does say that at the May 14th zoning commission meeting, the following considerations will be discussed. And one of them was outdoor restaurant seating. This idea requires much more discussion from the health and fire department, ZBA, and others. And the plan also suggests that the town will consult with the land use department heads, ZBA, and EDC to seek other suggestions. So I just wanted to say is that I did receive the document by via email, and I don't know if any of the other members did, and if there's anything we need to do at this point. Fran, Alice, are you aware of the document I'm talking about?
Yes, I have it on the screen. I don't know if you can see it.
No, it's not opening up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's not opening up.
Yeah, I
Huh.
received as well, but I cannot open it. It says there's a problem with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have it open, but I guess it's not showing on the screen. Oh, well.
Okay, well, I'll just ask Alice and Fran, is there anything we need to do with this at this time?
No, I think it's just more informative right now. I'm working with the zoning commission. I've had three calls today with regards to restaurants that want to do outdoor dining patios that don't have it.
Right,
So we're trying to work with them in conjunction because we don't want to lose the businesses in Brookfield or see them suffer any more than they already are. So we're trying to put a plan together where a special event permit is going to be required. There's going to be a timetable on it, dates and hours of the events. One individual is looking to do a tent. The police department's on board, obviously, with it. The fire marshal's going to be on board with it. The building department's going to be all the departments, but we're going to try to streamline the process and make it easier for everybody. Because again, we don't want to see the businesses go under. We want to try to help everybody survive through this pandemic that we're having right now. But it's still in the process. But we're getting a pretty fine grip on it right now. I know Greg was going to be doing his presentation to the Board of Selectmen tonight.
right.
He's been working in conjunction with it. So we're all working together to make it work. So
Is there anything we'll need to do before the June meeting?
I don't believe so. I think it was just more or less informative for the commissions. All the commissions are going to be receiving this letter and just letting everyone know what we're looking to do to make this happen for everybody. So
Okay. Are there going to be any special events that may be ongoing during the Memorial Day weekend? I know the parade has been canceled, and it's kind of hard to imagine people being able to gather to watch a parade, you know. so-
yeah, there hasn't been any applications that have been submitted yet. But I'm sure in time, it's good. They're going to be coming in. So as of right now, there's nothing. There's no applications in front of me, but all applications are going to come through the zoning office first because we have to ensure that they have a patio permit to serve alcohol too outside.
Right.
We don't want to see somebody
Makes
start
sense.
serving liquor outside, then have the state come in and shut them down because they don't have a patio permit or outdoor liquor permit to serve. So,
Definitely. And I
so
work for the state. I would not want the state to shut anybody down.
no. So
So at any rate then, as I'm looking here, I don't see any additional items, business that we have for this evening's meeting. So I'm just going to close by, before I take a motion to adjourn by saying, first of all, everybody stay safe. But also, I do encourage everybody to patronize our restaurants on a takeout basis. I know we've been doing so, and I think we've been doing whatever we can to try and contribute to the survival of really the fine establishments we have in this town. We're really blessed with a lot of good restaurants in this town, and they deserve to survive, and they deserve our support. So at any rate, Fran and Alice, unless there's anything else that we need to take up, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
No, we're good. I'm good.
Okay. I'll take a motion to adjourn, folks.
So move.
Okay, in a second. Okay. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Okay. Thank you very much for your cooperation. It's a bit different holding meetings this way, but we're working it.
Mhm.
Hopefully by our next meeting, June 1st, will be hopefully back at town hall, but that's still to be up in the air. So we'll see. So,
Okay, we'll see. When's our July meeting scheduled for?
let me take a look.
I think Louise and myself may be out.
July 6th.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty close to the July 4th holiday, and I would imagine that some folks may be out of town. We may be out of town. So we may consider at the next meeting asking that it be a special meeting in July, move that date possibly.
Okay.
I'd like everybody to think about that. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so I guess all in favor of adjourning? Aye.
Hi.
Okay, we are adjourned. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Okay,
night.
great evening, guys.
Bye.
Here.